You know that saying that you should never meet your heroes because they might not be who you thought they were? The Boys is pretty much that saying in show format. Imagine the Justice League decide to say, screw the rules, I'm about me, and I'm gonna get mine to do what I think is right, and I don't care who gets in the way. Imagine the Justice League, imagine Superman doing that. Then imagine how terrifying it is to be a human during that time. And this episode of Movie Breakdown Series Review is a request from Tyler Phoenix, a Patreon member, where I review season 1, 2, and 3 of The Boys. And this episode is season 1. We're gonna get into it now. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. And before I get started, is a movie review or TV show you want me to watch, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I'll get to it as quick as can, or best as possible, or however I can get into it. But I also have a Patreon, Patreon/Ali Zakka. For $2 a month, you can cut in front of everybody to review out way before it come out on Facebook and YouTube. Sometimes I get it right away because, you're paying for my services. You're paying me $2, so I get to it. Also, you got other content on there, some more stuff that might be coming out on Facebook and YouTube much later, but you get on the Patreon first because you're paying for me. I appreciate you. Now, let's go and get into today's episode of season 1 of The Boys. And this is going to be a spoiler review because The Boys been out for about a few years now. Matter of fact, season 1 came out in, I want to say 2019. So 2019 when season 1 came out. So it's been a while since the show been out. So I'm going to go ahead and spoil season 1. Season 3, when I get to it, I won't spoil it because it came out in 2022. But season 1, I won't spoil it. But I'm going to give you guys a quick synopsis before I jump into what the spoilers are. So, what is The Boys about? The Boys is about a superhero organization, think the Justice League, who pretty much their superheroes are like, screw the rules, I'm doing what I want, and I'm going to live this life how I want to live it, and everybody else should follow line. If you don't follow line, you find yourself in a tough spot. And you also have like marketers and the media covering up the superheroes for the things they do, change the situation around. And that's pretty much what The Boys is. And you got a main character who finds himself on the opposite end of one of the heroes' actions, so-called, credible hint, and find a way to try to get back at the heroes. That is the gist of The Boys. And I'm gonna go ahead and get into spoilers in 3, 2, 1. This show is wild. It's crazy. Spoilers and my first thoughts is amazing. Like, this show, I love the story. It is a revenge show and not the way you think it's gonna go. So let me get into like the deeper part of the plot. So you have a character named A-Train who is the super fast guy. He's like the Flash. He runs over, or I didn't say run over, he runs through our protagonist, Huey. He runs over Huey's girlfriend, Robin. And what was wild about it was that A-Train said he was trying to stop a crime and Robin was in the street and he just didn't see her and made a whole media thing about it. In reality, Robin was an inch off the curb. She was just about to step down because her and Huey was going to walk across the street, and A-Train, who was carrying a bag with some stuff in it, ran right through Robin, like right in front of Huey's face. And Huey is a very mild-mannered, meek person who doesn't speak up for himself. So Huey, this guy who doesn't defend himself, who doesn't really know how to speak up for himself, finds himself snapping at times mentally because he lost the love of his life and all he sees is blood in his eyes. He wants to get back at the superheroes. And this guy named Billy the Butcher shows up, or Billy Butcher, not Billy the Butcher, but Billy Butcher shows up and pretty much tells him like, hey, saw that your girlfriend got ran over by A-Train, I can help you get back at him. And Billy Butcher is now on this escapade to kill all superheroes, specifically the Seven, who is this show's version of the Justice League. You have Maeve, who's like Wonder Woman. You have Homelander, who's like Superman. You have the Deep, who's like Aquaman. A-Train's the Flash. Black Noir, I guess you can say, is like Batman. And Starlight, who is the newest addition to the Seven, who is I believe Iowa? It's not Illinois. A girl from the Midwest who is probably just like the girl next door. But she also has superpowers. And she is naive and she thinks the world is about good versus evil. And her bubble gets busted in episode 1 very tragically, which makes you sick when it happens. But her and then there's one guy named Translucent, who's like the Invisible Man. They are the Seven. Well, Billy Butcher and Huey, who just like, okay, Billy Butcher's part of the CIA, decides to work with Billy to learn the backstory of heroes, learn what's going on, and then they capture Translucent, trying to get to A-Train to figure out what's going on here. As the show progresses, you find out that these people are not born this way, because that's what the media and the market want you to believe, that they're born superpowers. No. They're actually genetically modified humans who get powers. And they're built in a lab. So every person who's a superhero in this show is actually a lab baby who got superpowers given to him at birth. Voila. And now it's up to Huey, Billy Butcher, Mother's Milk, and Frenchie to kind of try to take down this glorified media machine, marketing machine, superhero organization to show the world that these are frauds. They're not real people, or they're people, but they're not like actual born with powers. They're actually given powers, and this is a whole fraudulent thing to make you think that these heroes are actually like given at birth with God-given talent. No, they're not. They're actually given lab tests and stuff. So they're trying to take them down. The problem is they're going about it the wrong way. At one point they kill Translucent. Huey kills him because he got tired of getting punked around and just snaps and kills Translucent. So Huey takes out Translucent. To add to that, Billy Butcher trying to get back at Homelander for sexually assaulting and pretty much say the word. It's a trigger warning. I'm just saying, well, I'm not gonna say it. He sexually assaulted and took advantage of his wife, who got pregnant, and she gave birth to Homelander's son, which is the plot twist at the end of the show, because Billy Butcher trying to find his wife this whole time and kind of find out she's been alive for the past 8 years off in a secluded area. It's crazy stuff. A lot of stuff is going on here. It's a lot. But Billy's out to get Homelander. Huey's out to get A-Train. A-Train's out to get Huey because because everybody's scared of Homelander, decided to overdose his girlfriend, who gave away the medicine that they're using, the chemical they're using to make superheroes. She gives to Frenchie, Mother's Milk, and Billy Butcher. She gives them like exactly the details that's going on there, and then A-Train was hyped up on this, which is pretty much steroids. Compound V is steroids. If you're already having your system, you keep taking more, it's like you're killing yourself. So A-Train ended up killing his girlfriend because Homelander told him to, and then blames Huey. So they have to deal with that. So this whole season is about revenge, and I'm watching it thinking like, oh my gosh, like, is Huey going to become a bad guy? Is Billy Butcher going to become a bad guy? Like, I know they're not doing the right thing, but also the good guys you're watching the show is not doing the right thing. It's a show about people who are not doing the right thing. It's all gray, no black and white. But it's a very interesting thing, and I love this. I love season 1. I think this is such a good season. I'm all about it. As I gave you guys a story there, the spoiler versions of it, there are things in this show that I truly do love. The writing for this show is amazing. I love the writing. I love Huey as a character. I love somebody who kind of gets out of his shell, who no longer like let people walk over him, is now standing up for himself. And by the end of season 1, he's doing that. He's pretty much standing up to anybody he wants to stand up to. And I completely love that, but it took a really dark way to get there. But I like the fact that he does it in the storyline for him. And there's characters like Starlight and and Pop Claw, who I was like, dude, I think Huey should go out with her. I think Huey should go out with her. Like, he just lost his girlfriend, so I gotta fill that void. Not have to, but like, it'd be neat somebody fill that void. Like, you're empathizing or sympathizing with this main character who's now, it's like, the more he hangs out with Billy, the more he gets stuck in this very dark lifestyle that he can't get out of. And then he finally meets Starlight, who going through her stuff because what's name takes advantage of her. The Deep takes advantage of her, makes her go down on him. She's scarred. She actually does bring it up at one point in the show, and I kind of just like went off script because everybody at the vault, when they do public meetings and public things, they're all scripted. They all put on the show. They're not actually acting like that. Homelander's not a good guy. He's a really messed up dude. And there's episode, I believe 3 or 4, where Maeve and Homelander try to save a airplane for like 500 people, and it goes down. Homelander's like, let's go. They're gonna die. It is what it is. While Maeve is like, we can save these people. We can do something. Homelander's like, how? They're not gonna make it. They did. And he's like, this dude's messed up. He ain't even attempting. The dude who can lift the house and save the world and move buildings, who's pretty much Superman, who's like, yeah. He's like, well, I could try to get in front of the plane, but under what? How am I gonna land the plane? Like, how am I gonna stop it with water? What the heck? Like, dude, you can move, you can break the sound barrier when you fly. Why can't you just get underneath it and move that plane somewhere else? Pick it up and move it somewhere else. But no, like, it's a really messed up show, but the writing for it is so good where I was invested. I was like deep down. Like when A-Train was taking Compound V, and I was like, oh man, he got to run this race. Is he going to do? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? I was like invested. Like, in the cinematography for the show is really, really good. The camera work, the camera setup, the directing for these episodes is really, really good. Really just nice camera work, nice directing, nice cinematography for this whole show. Really, really good work there. Like, I was impressed 110%. And there's stuff that happened in the show, I'm like, oh my gosh, because you just don't expect it. Like, there's bones breaking, blood splattering, like, oh my, what is going on? Like, calm down. It's like Game of Thrones, but like without all the much nudity that Game of Thrones has. Like, all the other stuff that Game of Thrones has, it's like this show. The things I don't like, it would be that some episodes take longer than others. There's like episodes that build up, but it's not like, you can find yourself kind of falling out of episodes, or you get looking away doing something else and come back to a scene. You know, like every episode's not captivating, which, you know, you expect is an 8 episodes show. Each episode's an hour long. And I do appreciate them putting time and effort to it versus rushing stuff, but it's just also like, that's a little long. Okay, we didn't have to get to that point. Like episodes 9 and 8, or I want to say 9 and 10, but it's not. But 7 and 8 are really solid, strong. 5, 6, not so much. And I guess you're more waiting for the anticipation of like, if this is a season where Starlight gonna find out about Huey, is a season where Huey becomes more like a villain and become more take on that persona. Like, if that's gonna happen, we don't know. So the anticipation builds up, and then it kind of just happens. You're just like, oh well, cool, it's fine, it's fine. I'll probably say like the pacing of it a little bit off here and there for certain episodes, but other than that, I still really enjoyed it. There is licensed music, and sometimes the songs do actually match what's going on with the show, so I do give them props for that. Like, there's a song where like there's no sunshine when she's gone, and Frenchie's looking over a girl who he thinks is dead, and they playing this song, and then she wakes back up and the song cuts out of it, and you're like, oh, so the show's not over. They usually play licensed music at the beginning of the show and at the end of the show. And I'm wondering, as the show goes on, those songs that are being played are actually more prevalent to what's going on TV. And yes, there's songs that legit, something happened, that song plays exactly what's going on. So I do give them props for that, but I don't feel like it's every single time. I could be off, I could be wrong with that. All right, let's go and get into the cast, directors, and writers. So season 1 came out in 2019. The creator is made by Eric Kripke? Kripke? Or Kripe. Eric Kripe or Kippy. And I'm sorry to mention the name of it. It's Kripke. Season 1 is 8 episodes. It was about an hour long. Your cast and characters, you have Billy Butcher, who played by Carl Urban. Billy Butcher's great. Carl Urban does a good job doing a good Billy Butcher. Somebody who could be a little off edge, a little bit like you don't know you can trust him, where he's a good guy, he has dark motives, and maybe somebody who can snap at any moment. And you learn why, but like at the same time, it makes sense. I think Carl Urban did a good job bringing Billy Butcher to life. Great work there. Jack Quaid, who played Huey. I love Jack Quaid as Huey. Huey's a character who's mild-mannered, meek, who learns to grow on his own and learn not to go down that rabbit hole that Billy Butcher is going down, who Billy Butcher feel like Huey thinks Billy Butcher lost his girl or his wife the way Huey did, and in reality it's not the case, but you're going down this rabbit hole where you can see that maybe Huey could be like Billy Butcher in the future. You let rage and hatred and vengeance consume him. Vengeance consume him. Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander, this guy, talk about a case. So Homelander, Anthony Starr did a great job being Homelander, amazing. But Homelander as a character who was like Superman with a God complex, unlike no other, this man also has mother issues or attachment issues where the lady who runs Vault, who runs like the superhero team, kind of like the manager of the team, there's some kind of like weird relationship where Homelander wants to be like vying for attention at all times, and she has a baby, so he gets jealous of this baby, and then he wants her milk and everything. And it's just a weird dynamic, and you're like, this man has mother issues on some level, and then at the same time, he's like, I'm a god. I do all this stuff. I'm doing this. I'm America. America worships me. Like, there's a scene where he is saying like how he said a religious quote and then he levitates in front of everybody, hands out. I'm like, this man think he's above everybody. He's legit hovering above everybody. Not even the fact he's on the stage. He legit flies above everybody. But a dude can snap. He's like, when he snaps and loses his mind, he legit loses it and like, and around a heartbeat will kill. Erin Moriarty, who plays Annie, who's also Starlight, great. I love her character. I'm curious to see how her character progresses. She's somebody who's like, this is not what I chose. This is not what I signed up for. The 7 is not what it's cracked up to be. And she's kind of going against it where she doesn't want to work. Like, she works because it's her job, but at the same time, she doesn't really like the 7. And I love Erin Moriarty's Starlight character, I think is amazing. Jesse T. Usher, who plays A-Train, I loved A-Train as a character. I thought this dude was kind of like a dude who was losing his powers. Like, he legit was losing. He was trying to find everybody to keep it and using Compound V to keep that. A-Train just didn't want to accept his faults. He was acting like he was a perfect. Nobody could touch him because, once again, he's a superhero. And he's the fastest man alive. So he is legit God. Like, he's like, I'm the best. Nobody can touch me. Nobody can do this. And A-Train, who kind of gets humbled in a sense. And I'm not really sure he learns this lesson by the end of season 1. But because everybody's telling him what the issue is. And I don't think he's receiving it as much. But I love this character. Laz Alonso, who plays Mother's Milk. He's like the guy in the group who's kind of like, he's with Huey, Billy, and Frenchie. He's like a guy who kind of keep everybody straight, who's kind of like not the person who let people just go off the rails. He's the second voice of the group, and he makes sure that the guys or the boys all stay together and don't lose the stuff. And somebody pops off, he's kind of like there to kind of be the land of the law in a sense. Like, he's like Billy Butcher's, like Billy Butcher is the leader and he's kind of like the backup man in a sense. Like, he's the guy who's like the second man in command, if you think of it that way. You know, he doesn't come in till later. Frenchie comes in next, which Frenchie's played by Tomer Capone, who plays Frenchie. He comes in next when you meet Billy Butcher, and Huey then is Frenchie. And Frenchie's kind of like, sometimes fly by the seat of his pants. He's just like, hey man, it is what it is. I'm going to do this. I feel like this is right. I feel like we should do this. While Billy Butcher's like, you know, go ahead and do it. And there's a dynamic of somebody who's more straight-laced, like, let's get this done. Let's get the job. I want to go back home. Somebody's like, we can skip B and go to D, and then maybe get to F, and then come back to A, and then there we go, find our way to Z, who's Frenchie, who's kind of all over the place. There's a component where Mother's Milk and Frenchie go at each other a lot, but I love these two characters as well. Karen Fukuhara, who plays Kimiko. Kimiko right now is mute in the show. She is a terrorist person who was given Compound V, and Frenchie ended up saving her. So she's a superhero who's kind of with the gang of the boys. You have Chase Crawford, who plays the Deep. This dude is a horrible guy. Like, Chase, doing a good job of Chase Crawford, portrayed it well, but the Deep is a dude who kind of like, you feel like he's not being treated fairly, or feel like he's not being looked at the same way as all the other superheroes. But then again, he'll take advantage of women and do what he wants, and just not a good dude. It's a horrible guy. Dominique McElligott, who plays Elligot. Sorry if I mentioned the name of Dominique. Who plays Maggie Shaw, who is Maeve. She also has her own thing. In season 1, hers is more like she's no longer the eye of the storm, the eye of everything, but she's not really jealous. Like, she just kind of sit back and watch everything. And you can see her unraveling in season 1, questioning whether or not the 7 it is what it is, whether she be okay with what's going on, whether or not she's been one of the longest people who've been in with Homelander, but at the same time, she's kind of like, I don't know what to do. Like, she's going through PTSD with Homelander and not saving the people, and then she'll go back to her girlfriend who doesn't want her, so she's a superhero who can't do anything, and then at one point she tried to take out Starlight, and Starlight's like, I'm not about that, you know, whatever. And Maeve is like the one person in the group who, in a sense, kind of likes Starlight for who she is, but at the same time, kind of like want to, from right now in season 1, where it looks like she might want to save Starlight and kind of be like, hey, this is how what it really is. And I think episode 1, she was like, just suck it up. Kind of like, dang, it's messed up. But there's a good person behind Maeve. It's just like she doesn't know how to really go about what she's doing. Now, I want to know more about her character, and looking forward to see what happens in season 2 with her. And then you have Elizabeth Shue, who plays Madeline Stillwell. I did not like Stillwell. I feel like she was definitely the boss manager character who, like, I own all you guys. I do what you guys do what I tell you to do, and you don't like it, you gotta go. And she finds herself always like kind of controlling Homelander. Like, she's like Homelander piece to control. And at the end of the series, or end of this season, Homelander actually kills her, which kind of unleashed the beast for season 2. And I'm curious to see what happens. And Homelander is doing exactly what I wanted Kylo Ren to do in episode 9. He's pretty much taking over. Like, he's talking to all the 7. He's like, no, you follow me, you do this, you do this. And the 7 fears him. Like, they do not want to cross Homelander. The dude can cut laser out his eye, and super strong and super fast. So, like, and can fly. He is Superman. That's the main cast I want to talk about. I'm trying to think of anybody I missed. Popclaw. That was the other person I was missing. Popclaw was played by Brittany Allen. She was the girlfriend of A-Train. And she was also a person who was giving A-Train, like, helping him get the drugs, Compound V. And she, at one point, takes it herself. And I thought that maybe she's going to become a character who helps Huey out, or Huey falls to her, she falls for Huey kind of thing. Like, she's a bad girl, like Black Cat and Spider-Man. That doesn't happen. As a matter of fact, A-Train kills her throughout the series. But she was a cool character for what she was, and I thought she'd be more, and I was excited for her, like, be the somebody who was like, she wants to be loved by A-Train. A-Train's like, oh no, I'm not going to really love you. Like, you're my girlfriend, but I'm going to hide you from the world. Versus like, no, like, let's take the world together. So she feel kind of hurt by that. And she ended up putting herself in a situation because she ended up trying to have an affair or cheat on A-Train with her landlord, and it goes sideways quick. And Billy Butcher and Frenchie comes in and say, hey, we got you. You just need to do a little something for us. And I thought she was going to join the crew at one point, but she doesn't. But that's the other person I want to talk about. Any other thoughts? Not really. The music was okay. Like, I think this is a solid show. I'm looking to see what season 2 brings. And this is a Friday night show to binge. Yes, you can binge with your friends and family well, not family, but your friends for sure, and maybe older people in your family, and great time. I'm going to grade season 1 of The Boys a solid B+. This gives 89% for me. I enjoyed season 1 so far. Looking forward to see what season 2 and season 3 brings. If you guys seen, oh, before I go, let me see if IMDb actually has season 1 of The Boys rated. Okay, so The Boys season 1 on Rotten Tomatoes rated by the critics 85%, so that's a B. And then the audience score gave it 89%, a B+. That's where I give it, B+. Think season 1 is solid. Looking forward to seeing what season 2 brings. Let's see if IMDb actually does have a season 1 rating. It does not. It does not have a rating for season 1. It's the overall rating for the show. So unless I'm missing it, if you're somebody who knows if IMDb does have a individual season rating, please put in the comment section below. I know they have individual episode ratings, but I don't know they have individual season ratings. Let me see one more time. Season 1. And yeah, they have individual episode ratings, but they're not individual season ratings. So each episode is rated like, there's season 1 doesn't have an episode rated below an 8.2. So yeah, I give it 89%, B+. If you guys seen The Boys, what do you think? Please put in the comment section below. That's The Boys season 1. Season 1, not season 2, season 1. If you've seen season 1, what do you think? Please put in the comment section below. See you guys in the next episode of Movie Breakdowns, and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.